One. Hi, wrestling fans, and welcome to another riveting, action-packed, and very interesting edition, we hope, of AIWF Ringside Wrestling. Hi, I am Mad Matt Carter, being joined as always by Commissioner Rick Diesel and Hall of Famers Brian and Reagan Danzig. But we're all of us in the Hall of Fame now, so it's your Hall of Fame panel here tonight, and we have an exciting show for you. At least we think we do. You guys, how's everybody doing?
I'm good, but Reagan's all gimped up, so
Yes.
that she does.
Yes.
All right. Well, we'll get going with our PowerPoint and everything.
Yeah, I'm doing some sharing, so y'all.
Yep. Can you guys see it?
Make
Yes.
sure all your other stuff's closed.
I don't have anything offensive.
I was talking to him. Then he said he was sharing.
AIWF Ringside Wrestling for
I don't know how
February
to take that.
February 25th, 2024. And for those of you who are diehard wrestling fans know what February 25th is, it's Ric Flair's birthday.
75, baby.
Yeah, so happy birthday, Nature Boy. These are some just some photos I was able to nab from around the internet. You can see top left is Flair being interviewed by Bob Caudle in the Spartanburg Memorial Auditorium during a NWA Pro Wrestling and Worldwide taping. In top middle, you can see Flair and Wahoo going nose to nose. Bottom left is Flair and Steamboat. And the other two photos are from Flair's retirement match, at least his first one. And back in 08, I believe, was it not? WrestleMania 24. It was the one where it rained at the beginning in Florida at the Citrus Bowl, I believe is where they were at. And the stadium, when the WWE people got there, they realized the stadium looked a little more run down than they expected. And so then you see those palm trees in the bottom right above the WrestleMania sign. All those extras were added by WWE to improve the aesthetics of the stadium. The Citrus Bowl's been there forever. So, I mean, yeah. So anyway, one of my favorite Flair matches is the one on the bottom left of the screen, him and Steamboat at Chi-Town Rumble 89. Everybody remembers that because our older fans do, because although they had feuded in the 70s and 80s, most of those weren't on TV. They were just at arena events. And so if you didn't buy a ticket and go see the matches that night, you didn't get to see how good they were. But when Steamboat came back in the early days of WCW, and they had those three matches in 89, a lot of people say those all three were classics. But I think the first one was my favorite, just because it was the first one,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so, but I would go around the horn and, hey, since it's his birthday, what are your favorite Ric Flair matches?
Well,
I think look, that series of three matches with Ricky Steamboat is hard for me to choose one, but Ric Flair was always one of those guys that they could put they would put the young hot talent for him to make them look good.
Mm-hmm.
and get them over, and he was really good at that. But it was so refreshing to see him in there with somebody who was seasoned and who knew what they were doing, and just see how well he could truly wrestle when he was in there with somebody who was at his skill level, and Ricky Steamboat definitely was. I mean, it was just watching two masters of their craft going at it, and it was just an awesome thing to watch.
Brian, did you ever get a chance before they moved the WWE Network stuff to Peacock? They had a show called Boogie Jam 84 on there, and Flair, and it was from Greensboro, and the main event was like Jimmy Valiant and Dusty Rhodes, maybe, or somebody else against the Masked Assassins. And the Masked Assassin 2 lost his mask, and it was Hercules Hernandez. But Flair and Steamboat were on that card, wrestled for the world title, and wrestled an hour. And it's fucking amazing. I mean, just the speed that they kept going through that whole match.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I didn't see that one, but I have seen Flair wrestle for an hour before, and it's hard to keep especially now. I mean, it's different back then, but now, I mean, if a match starts going over 20 minutes, I'm like, start looking at my watch. All right, fellas, let's go ahead and take this home. I'm starting to lose interest, but not only could Flair go for 60 seconds, he could make it entertaining for that long.
How about you, Reagan? What's your favorite Flair match you think you've ever seen?
I really like this is gonna sound funny, but when I always enjoyed him and Dusty Rhodes. But I really enjoyed watching back and watching when Dusty was the Midnight Rider and the matches they had.
Dusty?
Because
That was Dusty?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Oh
my
man.
God.
Now Dusty's gonna have to come back from the grave and break my legs.
Next
That was
thing,
my childhood.
yeah, and next thing she's going to tell us is that Bob Armstrong and the Bullet were the same guy.
I know. How is that possible?
They've
Charlie
never,
Brown from Out of Town and Jimmy Valiant,
yeah,
the same
exactly.
person.
Because
Yeah.
if I remember correctly,
I gotta stop.
wait, what? Because if I remember correctly, he beat Flair, right? As
He
the
did.
Midnight Rider,
He
and then he
did.
had to.
He had
He's
to
supposed to-
relinquish the
But
title.
one of the rules was that
He had to
the world champion couldn't be under a hood.
Yeah, yeah, that was in
Well, it's like
Florida.
he had
But
to.
if y'all step
himself.
up and say that the dirty yellow dog was Barry Windham, I'm leaving the show.
Okay, no, it was Brian Pillman. So you're okay.
But I really, I okay. So
Collect
this
your
is
thoughts.
unpopular opinion here. I'm not that big of a Ric Flair fan. Like, I see why everybody likes him. I prefer Arn Anderson. I prefer his wrestling style. I prefer his mic work. But that is a very, very unpopular opinion. So, but Ric Flair was very fun to watch, and Ric Flair holds a spot in my heart because of the picture in Greensboro incident with my friends and stuff. So where my friend and I chickened out and didn't take our other friend's picture. So he holds a dear, dear spot in my heart because of that. So but I was reading something recently, or people were talking about he opened the way for people to have like a personality in wrestling. Whereas like before you had personalities, but you didn't have people that really, really went for it on the mic as much.
Mhm.
And they were just saying that he kind of opened the way to the wrestling like we have now.
Okay. Rick Diesel, your favorite Ric Flair match?
Well, before I get into that, I got a couple of things I need to address. One, Ginger wanted me to ask you guys if I hurt anybody's ears because I'm so loud.
No.
No,
Okay.
that just sounds like a wife complaint.
Well, it is because I think she can't hear the TV sometimes when I'm doing the show.
Oh, I thought you were out in your office doing this show.
No, the office is in the spare room now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we
Oh.
moved the office back in the house.
Oh,
You're gonna have
okay.
to get you some of those things to put on your walls that buffer the sound, like in
Well,
fan
we ordered
room.
wallpaper for back here today, so by next week maybe that'll be. She's took a real interest in what the set looks like behind me. I don't know why, don't know where that came from, but it's happening. I'm not going to argue with it.
Hey, it happened with my wife took an interest too, and you see,
Yeah.
so that's the day she brought it up was the first day I texted you. Have you got any old posters?
All right. The second thing is that I think I've discovered why I scratch all the time.
You got a nervous tick.
Well, from what I understand, what I've been told talking to people who know is, and when I say this, every one of you's gonna go, oh. It's a combination of anxiety and what else? Ah, they said something else. What it was, but it's a lot of anxiety and nervous tension.
Yeah.
I could have
So,
told you that without charging you $150.
well, yeah, but they say that it's phantom itching is what it is. If you'll notice, I'll do it a lot, especially on my back.
Mm-hmm.
And they said
Well-
it's because that's what it's stress and anxiety. Me of all people.
Yeah, I can't.
Well, you're high strung and have to constantly be moving. If you're sitting down, I've noticed over the years you do it more if you're sitting down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because it confines me. I remember when me and Allison and Jordan went to Florida and done the Harry Potter ride.
Mm-hmm.
They clamp you in. I thought I was dying because I couldn't breathe, I couldn't move, and I almost had to have them take me off the ride, and I was like 50-some years old. But anyway, getting back to what you said, anything with Ricky Steamboat, naturally, if anything with Ricky Steamboat is not one of your favorite matches, then you're probably not a Ric Flair fan. But with me, that center picture right there, Rick and Wahoo McDaniel. Now, one, Brian, you especially, Brian, know how close Wahoo, he was my mentor for a long time. And I like when Wahoo and Flair wrestled because it wasn't really as much an athletic match as a brawl.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I like, because Wahoo would knock your goddamn block off. I know. But that's what I like, because I think that was some of the most demanding matches physically and like just the sheer punishment of them that Flair had. Because Wahoo, I mean, you remember Brian, his hands was like freaking big ass T-bone steaks. They were so thick. So,
and didn't Wahoo have something to do with Flair's training? Wasn't he one of his?
I know Flair trained with Vern Gagne. I don't know how much Wahoo. I know Wahoo had something to do to help him a lot in the early years. I don't know how much training it was, but I'm sure.
I just remember an article like years ago where Wahoo was talking about teaching Flair stuff. But yeah, I don't know if it was his training or if it was just
mentoring.
Yeah,
and to bring it to like a more recent, not really recent, but like his run in WCW during the MWA, and God Almighty, I told you I was going to see how long I could last.
You got this. This is going to make an interesting show.
During the NWO.
That's why I wanted to do it last night, honestly.
No, actually, I would not have been able to do it last night. But like one of the things that was quite enjoyable during that time was right after NWO did their Horseman skit that made so many people mad. And I felt like the work he did with Curt Hennig after that was really good. Like, and like he kind of took, like, you can say that the Horseman was not the greatest then. Like, that wasn't a Horseman that most people liked. It wasn't, but it kind of blurred those lines between what's real and what's not real in wrestling. Because, later on, after I did some research, at the time, all the message boards and stuff were saying how mad Ric Flair was about this and how he was really going after him and for that skit. But then after several years, I found out that he was the one who was actually pushing for it, and I think it's something that he did that was very entertaining for the time period. And then, but that's about it. So
was that the Sid Vicious years?
No, it was Curt Hennig. It was Arn Anderson, Curt Hennig, Mongo, and Chris Benoit.
Yeah, Benoit. Yeah, I think Benoit.
But anyway, so the Horseman skit, the skit was that it was after Arn had come out and said that he couldn't wrestle anymore, and he told Curt Hennig that he could have his spot in the Horseman. And then the NWO did a skit where Kevin Nash was Arn and like Sean Waltman was Flair, and it was just so over the top. But it was at the time, like I said, it really blurred those lines that were, you know, between, like I said, what was real and what wasn't. And so people really bought into that Flair was really mad, that he was really pissed off at Kevin Nash and Scott Waltman, and like that he just wanted to go after them. But many years later, you know, it came out that he was actually pushing for all this stuff. So
it just didn't make any sense to me at the time, because they made that big rigmarole about, you know, Anderson giving him his spot, and Flair had returned and all this kind of stuff. It's like they do these big things with the Horsemen, and then the very next week the NWO would just beat them and spray paint them black and just dog them the fuck out. And it just, after the second time around, when Kurt Hennig slammed Flair's head in the cage in Fall Brawl in '97, like that's like really when I started getting a bad taste in my mouth for WCW. It was just
I guess that's my prime WCW time. I was at that Fall Brawl. So I don't know, but maybe that's because that's my time with him, that was like that I actually got to watch it happen in real time. Whereas all the other stuff I talk about is because I've gone back and watched.
Yeah.
So does that make sense? Like for me during the time, that was something I enjoyed. So
that wasn't a Fall Brawl in Asheville, was it?
No, this is one in Winston. That's after they moved it to Winston in '90.
The one in Asheville I went to it.
You went to the one where the Giant did the monster truck routine.
Yeah,
yes.
Yes.
I went to that one.
You were there,
and
Brian?
Me and
Yes.
4,000. Was you there, Brian?
Yeah.
Us and 4,000 fans stood on a balcony and watched them film that over and over. When they brought out the motorcycle, that when you run over Hogan's motorcycle, and they switched the motorcycles for one that was painted like his, only on one side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They ruined.
Somebody pointed out, they were talking to Kevin Sullivan, and they pointed up at all the fans that were watching, and he just kind of looked up, and I could see him say, "As long as they're quiet, I don't care." They
ruined.
They had extras at the, on the ground, when Hogan pulled up, as fans, but there were real fans up on the top, up on the upper level, watching them film it.
That may be the stupid time in WCW.
Yeah.
They ruined wrestling for hundreds of fans that day.
Yeah.
That was just first of all, that whole storyline, because that's the storyline that led to the Yeti. So that whole thing, and then the monster truck match on the top of the parking lot, and then the Giant going over, and Hogan. I'm like, Brian, it's like, why didn't they arrest Hogan for murder then? Because he definitely knocked him off the top of the building and thought he had killed him. So.
They should have arrested all of them for murdering the business that day.
Well,
because they drove the truck down. Tell me if I'm wrong, Brian. They drove the truck toward the thing. They had cameras all over the truck and everything, and then stopped, backed up, switched the motorcycle and the drivers.
Yeah.
Because the Giant didn't drive the truck originally. The truck owner or the truck driver did for most of it. And then the Giant took over like just before they went over the motorcycle. I can't remember exactly how it was. A long time ago.
I think it was once he drove over it, then they stopped and Giant got back in, and they him. Yes.
It was bad. Like I said, they ruined wrestling for hundreds of fans that day.
I mean, that is
how
just
stupid are you people?
It's stupid, but more importantly, it's lazy. Because you could have shot that at 11 o'clock in the morning, and there would have been nobody there except the people that worked at the building. But you just, that reeks of WCW penny pinching right there to me. That's just what. Oh no, we will have a boys come at their regular call time. We don't want to have to give them any extra because they come early. Fuck that. They're under contract. You're already paying them millions of dollars.
Yes.
Hey, Paul, Hulk, I need you guys there at 10:30 that morning, man, so we can shoot a monster
Hell,
truck.
6:30.
Yeah.
Then you go back to the hotel to sleep or it'll call time, but come in early so we can film it. Not to mention the fact that again, correct me if I'm wrong, Brian, but was there not, we not stand on that balcony and look out across the parking lot to houses and see people sitting on their porch watching it?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Who didn't even buy a ticket?
Well, they got to see a monster truck that day, so that was fun.
They sure did.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. Just that whole, like I said, that whole storyline was just trash.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just every single part of that. Cause that was also right when they were doing the Dungeon of Doom with the weird, and they did that match. What was it? The
Tower of
the
Doom.
Tower of Doom match. That was
Triple Tower.
absolutely terrible. And like, they had that just the whole thing just reeked of Kevin Sullivan just trying to get himself over. So
Yeah, some of that stuff was so hokey. I actually liked it. Like I always thought the monster truck thing was cool. And
maybe
Well, I'm
that's the
surprised
guy
Reagan
versus,
didn't love it because that was bad stuff.
yeah, I remember like
I'm not saying I don't love to go back and watch it now.
Oh,
I
that was
remember
bad then, man.
I remember like a coworker calling me or something that night, and he was like, "Did they just kill the giant?" And I was like, yeah, he fell off the building, but they didn't give us a shot of his corpse laying on the ground. So I'd say there's a sporting chance there might have been a net down there. So
The best thing I've said, because it was supposed to be that he fell into whatever river it was. But let me tell you my AAA story. So we were watching AAA many, many years ago, and they had a faction called the Hell Brothers. And they did a match, and they put he's not Cybernetico. He was Cybernetico in WCW, WWE.
No, that's what he was.
Yeah, okay, so he was there too. So he was the main guy, and they put another guy in a coffin and dumped him into whatever rivers there in Mexico. And I, honest to God, think he was in that coffin floating down the river. But that is AAA, so.
I remember that fall brawl in Asheville, and after we seen all that, I was pissed off the rest of the night. I couldn't even enjoy the show.
yeah, and it was a good show that night. That was the night that Flair and Arn Anderson went 1-on-1. And Brian Pillman kicked Flair in the back of the head, and Arn beat him, and the crowd was just flabbergasted. I was at home too. I was actually legit pissed. I remember jumping up and being like, bullshit. So anyway, happy birthday, Nature Boy. And welcome to the show, Hall of Famer Stephen Hayes. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
We're all over Instagram, AIWF Mid Atlantic Wrestling, and Diesel 247. That's DEEZEL 247. You can find me on X at Mad Matt Concord. There's wrestling stuff there. I usually like anything WrestleNomics or WrestleTix posts, I repost. If you want to see Sammy Guevara damn near kill Jeff Hardy from about 2 or 3 different angles, those videos are there. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but it was a collision taping, and
Oh yeah.
Sammy Guevara went to do a shooting star press on Jeff Hardy, did not have it lined up square, and his shin bone, and everything landed right on Jeff's face. And so it was really ugly. Not as ugly as the clips that I've seen from the FTR match from last night, but it was gnarly, man. So if you want to see all that, head on over to X at Mad Matt Concord. And so you can also
They
find
could have probably got the same reaction out of a strategically placed armbar
could have.
if they worked it right.
Yeah.
Ugh.
If only Johnny Valentine was still with us. It was like, I'll make these people love an armbar for first 25 minutes of the match before anybody even takes a bump. And we'll have them out of,
No comment.
what,
No
Johnny?
comment about arm bars for 25 minutes.
Johnny Valentine was a genius when it comes to that kind of stuff. Anybody that watched him wrestle, he would just grate on the crowd with wear down holds. And like when somebody finally like kicked him off of them after about 20 minutes, the roof would blow off the place. So But anyway, we're on TikTok as well, AIWF Mid Atlantic, at matt.carter.aiwf, although I have not figured out how to use TikTok yet. So just bear with me on the content.
You got to get
man.
CapCut.
You got to get what?
CapCut. That helps you. That's what most people use.
What
to
is
put
that?
their stuff together. It's another app. And it's what most people on TikTok use
It's like
to.
an editing.
It's like an editing app for your phone called CapCut.
Well, I got this thing right here.
Oh, I do. I do all my TikTok, which I ain't done nothing in a while. I do all it on the computer. So
I think CapCut you can do on your phone.
I guess I could turn TikTok on and just start broadcasting live, and people will be like, "What the fuck is this old?"
Hey,
guy?"
maybe you'll make
Yeah.
you some money.
I think you got to have so many subscribers before you can go live.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. You may ask.
I think Trista had to have 1,000 before she
Oh.
could go live.
Yeah, man. That T's Creations TikTok thing is pretty awesome. She's doing a good job of that.
Yeah.
Anyway, here's our schedule for the upcoming year, and
6 days, baby.
here we are. Yeah, next weekend, the 32nd anniversary weekend. And we're looking forward to 2 great nights of matches. Matt Classic was on with us last week, and then you can see the schedule for the rest of the year, but we'll delve into that more as we move along. But yeah, 2nd and 3rd next weekend, Saturday and Sunday, 7:30 bell time on Saturday.
7.
7. Okay.
7 on Saturday. I didn't realize that either till I looked at the poster today.
Oh, okay. So 7 p.m. 7 p.m. Get there early, and
And what time on Sunday?
I think Sunday's 3 or 4.
I don't know. Let's find out. Here's some of the posters that we got for it. Isaiah Frazier, the IAW Eastern States champion, is going to be facing the winner of the Heritage Battle Royal. That's going to be on Saturday, March 2nd. And right here, the poster says bell time 7 p.m. Floor seats are $10. Bleachers are $5. Not a bad seat in the house.
And you can, I think that when you come in the door, if you want to pay for both nights, you get a discount.
Oh,
that's
okay.
good.
Pay for both days or whatever.
That's
I think they'll
awesome.
give you a discount on them.
Cool. All right. So there you go. Ask Chastity and the girls at the door about the discount. Also, for the Mega Championship, Eric Steele is going to be defending against Vance Desmond. That one also on Saturday night. So title matches galore. And this is sponsored by Mega Pro Wrestling. I wish Matt Classic was here so he could tell us where these promotions were based.
Mega's out of West Virginia.
Out of West Virginia. Okay, awesome.
I'm trying to read that man's tattoo. He's very proudly showing it off, and I can't read it.
I can't either. Maybe it's some kind of like runes or
Is
code.
it upside down?
I don't know. It might be my state of mind.
No, I think maybe the picture's reversed or something.
Could be.
Oh, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shucked.
It looks like it's a shade, honestly, spelled backwards. So I don't know.
Shaved.
Shave. I don't
Shaved.
know. Anyway.
I was telling Brian that my weird eagle eye does help with my production values. So that is one good thing.
Yeah. For the World Tag Team title, the champions custom made are going to take on the Hype. This is brought to you by Extreme Valley Wrestling. This is also on Saturday night.
Now I think the world champions are based out of Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure about the Hype though.
Are they the ones that beat the Rustlers, or do we know the lineage there?
Maybe.
All right. So
This is a day that Matt Classic should have been on again.
Yeah, well,
Could have given us
yes.
some information.
Well, I forgot to send him the damn invitation anyway. That tonight, that's my fault. But I'd sent it to him 6 times prior, and he only came on once. So there you go. Sorry, I'm gonna stooge on you here. If you say send me the invite and you don't come on, I will make it public.
I think I goaded Matt into saying that. Sorry, Matt.
Doctor,
I did have a short meeting with him face to face today, and he did look pretty tired.
Oh, okay. Well, that's it. That's fair enough. Dr. Bill Payton, you're on the clock. Let's see. And of course, this is the one we're all interested in. Ty Tyson gets his shot at the man who defeated him for the AIWF World Heavyweight Championship, Golden Boy Greg Anthony. And this is going to be a bull rope match. And Matt Classic told us it's going to be old school. They got to touch all 4 corners. There's going to be a cowbell in the middle of the bull rope. This is going to be gruesome. Ty Tyson, the hardcore champion, he loves these stipulation matches because he just do whatever the hell he wants. And even when he was champion, a few years ago, AIWF Mid Atlantic champion, he would use his stroke a whole lot of times to get them to make no DQ matches. He loves the hardcore style. He can wrestle scientifically, but he'd rather not. He'd just rather go in there and have a fight. And so we've seen that more than a few times, Brian Danzig, over the years throughout the AIWF. So definitely, I think, very appropriate for the history of the AIWF in general. That all comes your way Saturday night, March the 2nd, this coming Saturday at Veterans Park. But remember, the AIWF 32nd anniversary is 2 days of wrestling. So we hope to see you there for both days. Any comments before I move on from the anniversary show? Rick Diesel?
I can't wait to that will be the debut of the new set. Reagan, watch her. Reagan's seen it.
Super excited about it.
Yeah,
I've been
looks
sworn
great.
to secrecy.
Yeah, so if
Yes.
you want to see the new entryway, you got to come out and buy a ticket. I mean, you'll see it on YouTube eventually, but it ain't the same.
Oh,
It's
it
not
ain't.
gonna be the same.
Yeah. So
Gotta watch it live.
anyway, join us at the anniversary show this weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun. 2 big days of wrestling. And of course, T's Treats will be there, and we'll all be there. So come up and say hello. Just don't do it during the show. Not me anyway. If you heckle me and while I'm trying to announce, I'm going to embarrass you in front of that building. I promise you. Bulldog, I'm looking at you.
I
He's
just want
Treats
everybody to
home
stay
with
out
a
of my little
John
food.
Holmes corn dog.
I don't like it throws my rhythm off. And if somebody, I don't know, Brian, when you were doing ring announcing, the rhythm as you're going through your
Oh,
things
yeah.
is important. And if somebody yells at you or says something and it throws you off, it takes, for me anyway, but I'm not professionally trained. I'm a lifelong amateur. It takes me like several seconds to get my brain straightened out and going again. So part of the
Gotta
You
learn
way,
to
don't
tune
really
them
need to
out.
heck. Oh, what?
Gotta learn to tune them out.
yeah, I know it's a weakness of mine, but instead I turn it into a stand-up routine where I ask them their name and introduce them to the whole crowd, and then say something like, "Okay, now all these other people here bought tickets to see a wrestling show tonight, which you've just interrupted, right? So, do you want to apologize to them, or do you want to just be quiet and let me keep moving on?" So that's
Another good way to go.
yeah. So. But anyway, we'll have a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. And now that I've said that out loud, everybody in the place is going to be trying to throw me off now. So, anyway, so be sure to check us out on our social media, our YouTube, the AIWF Network, and AIWF Ringside Wrestling. You can email us at AIWF20@hotmail.com. But check us out, our YouTube channels. There's some content that we put on both channels. But some of it is exclusive. So you got to subscribe to both of them and pay close attention to make sure that you see everything, because we slip in stuff every now and then that we don't tell nobody about. So be sure to check them out. AIWF Network, AIWF Ringside Wrestling. If you're watching here on YouTube, if you haven't already, do me a solid and please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell for notifications. That's both the AIWF Network and AIWF Ringside Wrestling.
Network's up to 621 videos now.
Wow.
How many
Incredible.
hours of footage could that possibly be?
A shitload. Yeah, enough that you couldn't watch it all, honestly. If you sat down and did it 8 hours a day, you probably still couldn't watch it all.
It'd take a while.
Yeah. So anyway,
That's over 300 hours of footage if they were all 30 minutes, and they're not. A lot of them 2 hours plus.
yeah, some of those are 2 and 3 hour shows.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, the Ringside Wrestling channel respectfully requests more content this week.
I sent you something today. Did you get it?
It premiered about a half hour before we went on the air. So
Okay.
thank you.
All right.
All right. So let me tell you about Premier Auto Detailing. We say hands down the best car cleaning service in town. They do detail jobs, just regular car washes, whatever you need. They'll come to you. So if you have a business and you've got a fleet that needs cleaning, or you got a used car lot, and you're tired of trying to hire, these kids to come and wash the cars. You can't get them to come to work half the time and all that kind of stuff. It might actually be cheaper for you instead of going through the hiring process and ending up having to fire, Junior because you count him at back when he's supposed to be watching cars, smoking weed or something like that. It might be better to reach out to a third party in this case. It might be cheaper in the long run. Premier Auto Detailing is your guys. 336-883-5722. And they can do residential jobs too. So if you've got a car that if you're like me and you just don't like washing cars because you're lazy, or you got, some kind of disablement where you can't get down on your knees and clean the floor anymore, whatever, give them a call. They'll be glad to try to help you out. Premier Auto Detailing, 336-883-5722. Be sure to tell them the AIWF Ringside Wrestling sent you. Also, T's Creations, custom apparel. We were just talking about her TikTok channel and how awesome it is. They can do custom-made t-shirts, hoodies, sweatshirts, and they're available all over the internet. T's Creations 22.com. T's Creations by Allied Apparel on Facebook. The TikTok is fantastic.
Shopify's back up.
Shopify, I didn't even know it was down. Okay, so Shopify's
Well, it was kind of neglected, and then I made her put wrestling t-shirts on there. And next thing I know, it's like, well, I ain't just putting that on there, so it's all on there now.
and you can actually link to it through the AIWF Network YouTube channel now, right?
I don't know. You was talking to me about that, so you need to figure. You're just gonna figure out how to I do that and let me know.
Well, I think that if you just get Trista to give you her login and password, maybe she can get in there, or you might have to cancel the Shopify you have now and then use the link inside YouTube to open up a new one. Because when I talked to her about it, I was trying to link it to the Ringside Wrestling and it kept telling me to open a Shopify account. So I think you have to have the YouTube has to be step one and then Shopify too. So,
Okay.
but that's what it looks like. I don't know.
We'll start the research process.
We need to talk off the air about this. We're going to bore these people to death. But anyway, check them out. They are at Shopify, but T's Creations. And if you need like custom stuff for a family reunion, a little league ball team, something for church, you're doing a vacation Bible school and you want to give out t-shirts to all the kiddos, reach out to them. They can help you out with those bulk type orders. So reach out to them, all these different places. T's Creations 22.com, T's Creations by Allied Apparel on Facebook, TikTok T's Creations, and Shopify. Check them out. And our rates to advertise here for what you just heard, like 30-second to 1, maybe 2-minute read, depending on how much we have to talk about each sponsor. We really got a value for you. $10 a month can get you that. Need a video commercial, it's a little more, $30. We do it by the week as well. But tax season coming up, if you do taxes on the side or whatever, we'll be glad to plug you here. And the $10 a month, even if we miss a show, that does not affect you. You get 4 weekly reads for $10. So, hey, you can't beat that. I mean, we're not like February, where you only have, a shorter amount of time to pay the monthly bills. We're not going to do that to you. We're not going to give you a short month. So check us out. If you want to reach out to us at AIWF20@hotmail.com. You can reach out to anybody you see on this panel via social media, or you can just approach us at the live events. We'd love to hear from you and love to have you on board. And I've got another slide here with the social media, and I need to update that because we are no longer on Apple Podcast and Spotify. Rick Diesel, we need to have a conversation about that too. Okay. Hey, some big wrestling went on in Perth, Australia this weekend. The WWE was down there for the Elimination Chamber event, and Michael Cole revealed on late Thursday night, Friday morning at the press event, it has taken them months to get the elimination structure to Perth. They originally shipped it out of New York via ship. It got stopped and prevented from passing through the Suez Canal by pirates. So they had to turn around, bring it back to New York, ship it over to the West Coast, right? They put it on a ship there and sailed it to, oh God, all right, it was in Perth, Australia. So they sailed it to Sydney, and then put it on a train and took it across country to Perth. So the structure itself took like 2 or 3 months just to get it to Australia. Now, my question to you guys is, do they just leave it there and build a new one, or do they try to get it back?
It should just be like the Olympics, like you build all the buildings for the Olympics and then you just leave them there to rot.
Yeah.
Because I mean, how much? I mean, I can't even fathom how much that would cost.
I have no idea.
I mean, that's insane.
Yeah, and that new Elimination Chamber is a lot more fancy than the one they first started out with. So yeah. Anyway, let's take a look at some of the slides that went on. This is
I think the irony of the whole thing is that the WWE had equipment almost hijacked by pirates.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to their pay-per-views over the years.
Especially in Martinsville. Arr.
It was the return of Paul Burchill. That's what it was.
Man, that's a deep cut right there.
Well.
So I got up at a little after 4 and watched this whole shebang live, and yeah, it was pretty rough. But I made up for it because I went to bed last night at about 9 o'clock and got up about 11 this morning. So I can't go hard like I used to when I was a kid. But and so then in the pre-show, the way they got me up an hour early was they were like, "Hey, the Kabuki Warriors are going to defend the tag team titles against Indy Hartwell, I think is her name, and Candice LeRae."
Mm-hmm.
And I had no doubt who was going to win this match going into it, but I still wanted to see it anyway because I've been a big fan of Asuka since she came on the scene about 10 years ago, and I like Kairi Sane too, but like now I hate them, and it's just like I really like the Mark in me really enjoys like under my breath these fucking bitches, whenever they come to the ring. So yeah, it's a really good time to be a wrestling fan right now, and they had a pretty good opening match. It was kind of sad because like the sky was overcast and it was kind of dreary at the beginning.
Well, the thing, this is going to sound weird. I don't like wrestling in the daylight. There's just something that's not as fun about watching wrestling when the sun is shining.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the same way about outside shows.
Like, I don't know what it is. Like, I just can't get into it. I think it makes me feel awkward watching it in the daylight. I don't know. But I really like Candice LeRae. I've followed her career for many years now. I think she's a little underutilized from what I've seen to be such a good wrestler. So it was nice to see her, get to work this, with the girl that was actually from Australia, Indy. I can't remember
Indy Hartwell.
Yeah, Indy Cartwell. So, so it was a pretty good match. I only made it through half of it before I fell asleep last night. So,
yeah, it's but they, Kabuki Warriors won like everybody thought they would, and pissed off the Australians, which who are noted extremely racist people. And so no, that's a joke, guys. But anyway, so yeah, that was the Kabuki Warriors. But look at that crowd. Or is it? Look at the crowd.
I could not watch wrestling like that.
No,
you know them people way back there are having to watch it on a damn screen. If you're gonna watch it on screen, just stay home, watch it on one that you can see up close.
Well,
yeah, Brian and I were discussing that, but I guess it's just the thrill of being there.
Mm-hmm.
I guess.
Well, here's my thing. I would never go to a WrestleMania inside a football stadium for the exact reason Rick Diesel said here, because they have to build this rig on a regular show to hold up the lights and all that kind of stuff over the ring with these 4 big, legs on it. And if you don't if you're not careful about, and I'm pretty savvy when it comes to buying tickets, but this even worries me. Your view is going to be obstructed by one of these poles. And so even if you're way up in the stands up here, it's at some point it'll be obstructed. So I wouldn't personally go to a stadium show. But people that want to do it, more power to them.
it also, like, with this whole setup and stuff, like, it looks weird on the field, like the way the seats are, because you have those big big sections where they can't put seats.
Yeah.
That you wouldn't be able to see, but then it also looks really weird when they do that pull-out shot. It kind of is I mean, I understand how they had a ton of people there. Not saying that. I'm just saying the setup makes it look like there aren't as many people on the field, so it kind of just looks weird, but I don't know. And y'all can keep telling me that Naomi is a good wrestler, but
she is not. I've never said that.
I'm gonna start calling her Botchamania. She is terrible. She did not go around. They kept going on and on about how she went around the world and found herself and honed her craft. No, I'm sorry. She is terrible.
I feel bad for Naomi because by everything that I've heard about her in her personal life, she's a sweetie pie, like one of the nicest people you'd ever want to meet. But when she was with WWE before, she wasn't over. I went to a live event in Charlotte where she came out and wrestled a singles match, and the crowd just got up and went for fucking popcorn. And she could hear it that they weren't making any noise during that match. And when she left, I could see her. We were sitting close enough. I could see her wiping tears from her eyes. Her feelings were legitimately hurt. And I feel bad for Naomi. I don't have anything against her. I'm not going to knock her here in public, but Reagan didn't say anything that wasn't true, in my opinion.
Yes, I mean, yes, she's a really nice person, but you know how you don't leave a match crying? Hone your craft.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm a little more loose tongued tonight, but
maybe she's one of these that just can't get it.
Or she can't get it up because I did not watch when her and Sasha were a tag team. Were they over? Was she over in a tag team?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I don't know.
I tell you right now, I'm a huge fan of that big bitch right there. Rodriguez. First of all, I marked that immediately because I absolutely love the song she comes out to. It's from the movie Desperado. Antonio Banderas sings it. It's something Mi Corazon. I love that. I love that. As soon as I heard it, my ears popped up, and then I have enjoyed her since I watched her on the Rumble. Now,
thing I don't understand about her is, like, when she was in NXT, she was like all black leather and heavy metal, and since she's come to the main roster, every time she comes to the ring, she's got to show me her shoulder blades and her fucking back. I've seen it. I mean, yes, you're a big girl. We get it. We understand. Like, that's kind of played out.
I think she looks better. Like, they keep telling me that Bianca Blair is big and bad, and I'm not buying that either. Like,
I'm not a fan of hers either.
Like, I don't know. Like, I will say Bianca Blair is really good on the mic. Like, when she does a really good job of that. They keep, I guess it all goes back to when I started, when her and Jade Cargill did the face-to-face at the Rumble. I'm sorry, Jade Cargill she looks like a big bad, like, muscular woman, and I don't know.
I hope they can get Jade Cargill to where she's good in the ring. I mean, really good in the ring, because she has the look and the size that she can be a top star if they can get her where she needs to be talent-wise in that ring.
And I enjoyed Tiffany Stratton. That's the first time I've ever seen anybody do the cartwheel elbow and it actually looked like it would hurt. Usually that looks really pretty light, and hers was pretty big, or pretty good. Everybody keeps telling me that the WWE has some of the best women wrestlers in the world right now, and I think I'm going to disagree with that.
Oh my God. You cannot compare the AEW women's division even there. No.
Did I say AEW, Matt?
Little League Baseball.
Did I say AEW?
Little League Baseball to Big League Baseball. I'm sorry.
I bet you if I counted how many botches all these women did, it would be in the hundreds. I didn't say AEW. You're jumping to conclusions. I didn't say
what other women are there besides, like, the TNA, and I don't even know how many they got.
Japan.
I'm just saying, you have a couple, but some of the ones they're telling me are good are not good. They have women who are good, like Candice LeRae, Chelsea Green. who they just shit on and give them stupid gimmicks and don't give them any or try to push them. Like, they have good women, but these people that they're putting in right here, besides Becky Lynch, I'll give you Becky Lynch, like, they're not up to, I don't know. Y'all can just come at me if you want to. I don't really care.
Yeah, Reagan's clearly under the influence right here. It's good. Don't let her drive tonight, Brian.
No, certainly not.
I'm not allowed to drive for 2 weeks.
Oh wow, she's really under the influence, guys.
But I love women's wrestling, and I'm not like Naomi, like, they botched, like there were so many moves that were just terrible. They didn't do them right. They didn't land them. They looked bad. They didn't look good. They were complete screw ups, and just over and over again.
You're gonna have to cite some examples, because you're painting with a pretty broad brush right here. And mostly I saw some botches in this match, but I'm gonna tell you, for the most part, I saw some really, like, even Liv Morgan impressed me, but Tiffy time.
I just said I liked her. You didn't listen. I said I liked her.
I'm not arguing with you, Reagan. Stop.
I told you I didn't know how long I was gonna make it.
You ever watch these police videos where they argue with drunks for like 30 minutes before they arrest them? Like, God, that's what I feel like I'm in right now.
Let's at least
I
tell
haven't been drinking, officer. Please just give me my hand back.
Okay, I will. Yeah, I have had surgery. For the people that are just listening, I have had surgery Friday, so yes, I will rein it back in.
Now I will defend Reagan in one thing. If there's anybody in this room that can legitimately judge the women, it's her.
I judge all wrestlers the same, no matter what their gender is. If you can get it done between those ropes, I like you. If you don't,
what I'm saying is that if there's anybody in here that would give the women a little more leeway, it would be her.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know, man.
She says it was a botch. It was a botch, because they have to be pretty bad before she'll say she don't like them.
That's true.
Yeah, but I have to qualify. I heard Jerry the King Lawler one time many years ago say that it's all women secretly hate each other. And I believe that. I really do. I tease my wife all the time. I'm like, well, Jerry Lawler was right. You know, y'all all hate each other.
I don't hate everybody. I don't hate women. I don't like women wrestling half the time.
Anyway, so Bianca had her heart broken. Everybody thought she was going to win. Even I did. Although I was I was pulling for Becky Lynch, and I got my wish. She won the match, and she's going on to WrestleMania to take on well, let me wait till we get to the end of this, to take on the winner of Rhea Ripley and Refrigerator Jax. And so
I got that.
Yeah.
How come you let me talk shit about her, but you don't let me talk shit about them other women?
Well, because the refrigerator hurts people, and
her botches are obvious.
Yeah, her botches can.
Her botches are very obvious, and this was a good match, except for the ending. They screwed up the ending a little bit, but it was.
Who's Daniel Bryan Light there?
That's the big strong boy Tyler Bate and his partner Pete Dunne. They're both from the UK. They came up years ago in NXT UK when that was still a thing.
I enjoyed not Pete Dunne, but the other guy when he had the guy. Well, he had, I don't know if it's Finn Balor or who, in like a headlock, and he kept kicking him in the face, just standing there. I told Brian, I was like, oh man, I like that. That looked good.
This match I'm going to always remember is the sunset match.
Because, that was beautiful. Yeah.
I have, in my time in the Pines, I have seen like those tropical smoky Pacific sunsets, and they are just fucking fantastic. You know, I've seen beautiful sunsets here in the East Coast, but that sunset that they showed at Elimination Chamber was just freaking gorgeous. I mean, and they covered it. They made it part of the show. That's what I liked that's one of the differences that you can tell with TKO and Endeavor producing these programs as opposed to Kevin Dunn. You know, the herky jerky camera work is gone. All those quick cuts are gone. And if there's something going on around the arena that enhances the whole experience of the TV, they don't just ignore it. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
so I really feel like if this had been done 2-3 years ago, that sunset may have been mentioned and shown
Mhm.
once for 2 seconds, but it wouldn't.
What?
Did you see the thing that was cool about it was, and Rick, these I don't know if you watched this show yet, but you talk about some good production. They show the sunset, and everybody's commenting how beautiful it is over the Indian Ocean. They start doing the entrances to this match, and you know when the Judgment Day comes out, they have those four that look like ring race standing there, you know,
Mhm.
with the graphic. They put that graphic up against that burning red sunset. You know, when the
Nice.
Judgment Day came out, and it was fucking sweet, man.
It looked really good.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's good because I mean, you're in such a remote place. Cause it's like the most remote city in the world, I believe is
Oh
there.
yeah, it's
I mean,
way out there in Western
um,
Australia.
it's like, you know, it's good to show like how beautiful it is. Cause I noticed they had some tourism type commercials about it, you know,
Mhm.
and it's a place that I knew nothing about until this pay-per-view.
The only
So-
reason I had heard of it because one of my coworkers' sons lives there, and she had told
Oh.
me about going to Perth. But you know, that's the only reason I knew. I know Sydney, Melbourne, and thanks to Rhea Ripley, Adelaide, Australia.
Mhm.
So,
But ugh, these guys were good. I enjoyed this match. Both Finn Balor and Damian Priest are really good. They did have that one thing where it kind of didn't work out right. That I wish they'd done a little differently, but
That's an odd picture.
yeah, that's why I put it there because I found it odd, and I
is
wanted
he
to
going into
include it.
a cutter?
It looks like he's coming off the ropes and gonna try to catch him with a forearm. To me,
Is
I
that-
want to know what's
Yeah.
going through the ref's
European
mind.
uppercut.
European uppercut flying.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, is this
What's
the
going
one?
through her mind is Tyler Bates' ass.
Yeah.
Hey, now, just
I
because
don't know. I don't know her name, but she is such a good referee.
she
You
is.
barely notice her. I mean, the two
Mhm.
women they've got refereeing the matches now, Jessica Carr and this lady, are fucking fantastic. You don't even barely notice them.
And she does a really good job of looking like she can hold her own, which I enjoy. Because sometimes when you have a women's ref, especially because she seems pretty petite, like not like she doesn't look short, but you know, she's not a big girl, you know,
Yeah.
and you know, she does look like she holds her own. It looked really good when she told Dirty Dom that he had to leave, you know, so it was good. And I really enjoy now that they're allowing more, you know, female refs to ref men's matches. You know, there for a long time it was just and I'm not just talking about WWE, I'm talking about most places you would just have a woman's ref ref women's matches. So it's nice to see them breaking into the ref business and just being utilized based on their talent, not their gender.
Well, I, for one, as little as 5 years ago, was against women refereeing men's sports and vice versa. You know, if you couldn't find enough women to referee a women's basketball games or whatever, yeah, maybe get a man or something. But my mind has changed on that because the NFL let women referees come in starting 2 or 3 years ago. I mean, there's no women referee because in the NFL, like the umpire, side judge, back judge, there's only one referee, and that's the leader of the crew. So there's women officials in the NFL, and the best, you know how you got a good official? It's the same thing I say because you don't notice them. Right?
Yeah.
And so the first year went by, none of the didn't notice the women officials. Second year went by, didn't notice them. And I got to thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? It would suck to be a girl because they can't really play football like organized unless it's like flag. There are really no tackle women football.
No,
women.
like
LFL.
the closest you can get is a
Yeah.
kick. Like there's kickers in college ball that are girls, that are soccer players that they've gotten to be kickers, and that's pretty much right now what you get, you know, if you get one at all.
Yeah. And so that got to be a concern of mine because I was like, I know how much joy the NFL and football brings to me. It's not fair just because you're a girl that you can't be more involved in the sport other than like a team doctor or bringing water to the players or something like that. I mean, if you're really an expert and have a mind for the game, you know, officiating's the next place to go. And you're going to start seeing female coaches, I think, at some point, you know, if there's enough interest in it. But
Yeah,
see,
'cause
that's going to be hard.
There's some actual, maybe in baseball, they're getting some like coaches like on, I don't know if it's that or basketball because I can't remember right now. But you know, it's like I am a fan of a ref who is, like you're saying, you don't notice them. Like every once in a while, it's okay to have one that maybe has a little bit of a story behind it. But in most of the time, I want them to just be the efficient and do their job. Like I don't know how to, because it sounds like I'm getting ready to shit on Aubrey Edwards, and that's not what I mean. But like sometimes she's a little too much.
Oh, you just get Aubrey some fresh grass and and a feed bag to strap around her head.
Now that is rude. You should not judge a lady with the size of her gigantic teeth.
No, she's a bad referee. She's better lately, but I've seen her like step into camera shots on purpose and shit like that back in the day, and I don't like that. And yeah,
I mean, you could say she opened up she opened the door for women to start reffing men's matches. I will give her that.
Maybe
she opened that door. And you know,
I will hold a whole lot of Rick Knox against Aubrey just because of the way Knox reffed in PWG.
He's fucking terrible.
Yes.
Yeah. Here's one thing though, Aubrey Edwards. Jessica Carr and this lady came along after Aubrey Edwards. So maybe Triple H is sitting there one night and watching AEW, and he was like, okay, so women can referee. Now, if we actually got one that was good, you know, boy, we could really do something.
Open up them doors, baby. Open up them doors.
Anyway, this is where she threw Dominic out, and this is the first time she's really shown any personality, and I like it because the one knock against Jessica Carr that I have, she just stands there like this most of the time.
Wait, is that one? You're going to have to help me with. Is that one or the blonde one? Is it a blonde one?
Yeah.
Who was the one in the Elimination Chamber?
That was Jessica Carr, I believe.
Oh,
the white lady.
Okay, well, I thought she had blonde hair. Sorry.
It's changed a couple of times.
Oh.
Most times she's got it tied up. You can't see it. But anyway, so there you have it. That's where she throws Dom out. It looked like for a second that Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne were, thank you. I almost said Butch, but I got used to Butch, you know. It almost looked like they were going to pull it off, but no, sir, Bob. Damian Priest and Finn Balor came through like the champions they are and won the whole shooting match. They are still tag team champions in front of what they say is over 50,000 in Australia. Rick Diesel, I'm going to need your help with this next ad because it is for our friends at Branch Management. And we got some photos today. Branch Management has stepped into another field of expertise, so to speak, hanging plants. And here's something I used to be against too, because I thought it was pointless to grow anything that you couldn't eat. But hanging plants do make your home more aesthetically pleasing, not only to yourself, but others. So what do we got here, Rick Diesel?
Planting somewhere in the neighborhood of 500 to 600 hanging baskets this year. So we've the greenhouse has merged in with the lawn care because it just makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so we got several different varieties. Got ferns, as you can see, and geraniums and wave petunias. And
do y'all have the ones that hang down that look like bales that are purple that pop open and then spread out? Do you know what
no, I can't think what they. We don't have those. I can't think of what they are. But
I'm a big fan of hanging baskets.
Oh, there's plenty of them.
Yeah. Well, and the good thing about this is if Branch Management coming out to do some yard work for you, clean up the lawn, and be like, hey, fellas, when you come out, bring me a fern, a spider plant, and some petunias to hang up on the porch. And
there you go.
They come already in the pot. All you got to do is hang them up and most likely you've probably got the nails there already. So all you got to do is let Branch Management know what you want. They'll bring it to you. You hang it up, keep it watered, you're good to go. I mean, you couldn't make it any easier, Rick Diesel, I don't think.
That's it. So good times, man. Springs are coming. Everybody's excited.
Yeah,
All the
and
food trucks are getting fired up.
yep, and the groundhog
Plants are growing in the greenhouse.
at the beginning of the month, the groundhog did not see his shadow, so that meant that we're having an early spring. So, isn't that the way it works?
Yes.
I don't know. And Jimmy Kimmel feels like it's necessary for him to point out that's bullshit every year, but I just think he's wrecking everybody. He's wrecking everybody's fun, and that's
Let's have some fun. Like,
yeah. Let's
Care what
see.
I don't care what the groundhog says. 6 weeks after Groundhog's Day is officially spring, according to my calendar.
Almost to the day.
Yes.
yeah. Two of my favorite, one of my absolute favorite movies of all time is Groundhog Day. Like,
Yeah, that is pretty good.
that is one of my favorite. And then there's a Jackass where Bam Margera and his group go, or is that a CKY video? And they get in a bunch of trouble there, which is really fun to watch too.
Well, I have to go through my Jackass collection and see if I can't find that one. I was able to procure all the old DVDs of the TV show from back in the day before they started making the movies. And it's not the whole shows, but it's like an hour. Each DVD is like an hour, hour and a half of best of. And it brought back some good memories. That's for
I
sure.
know.
Boy, that was appointment television back in the day. 10 o'clock on Sunday night on MTV. Boy, new episode of Jackass. Let's see. Branch management covers pressure washing, general contracting, gutter cleaning. They got free estimates, and now you're one-stop shop for all hanging plants. Just give them a call, 336-648-2487. That's 336-648-2487. Branch management for all your landscaping needs and home beautification involving stuff that grows. All right, so we had the Grayson Waller effect. He's a hometown Australian boy who was severely mistreated by the media down there a few weeks ago when he went down there with LA Knight and one of those camera ops or somebody who's tried to square up on him in the TV studio. And he told him real quick, he was like, dude, if you don't get out in front of me, we're going to have to call the police because I'm going to punch you straight in the jaw. And then Austin Theory went down there and the media mistreated him earlier this week. One of the reporters called wrestling fake, which, as you can imagine, went over like a fart in church to Austin Theory, who did a very good job of holding back. Even when I showed the video to Jinky, it's all over Twitter if you hadn't seen it already. He did a really good job because nobody wants to end up like Vader did in '96.
I was getting ready to say, is this a la Vader in Kuwait?
I think they were all told that story and knew going in, you know.
About 4 seconds away from a John Stossel.
That's
Yeah.
the one I remember. John Stossel, David Schultz. That's my era.
Oh yeah, I mean, and he popped John Stossel good, man. He hit him right in the ear twice. I mean, does that look fake to you? Yeah, cost him his
Funny
job.
that they
though.
would have to say that when they sold 50,000 tickets to this show to keep talking shit about being fake. Like, that's, I mean, I don't know, but
and it's so played out. I
Mhm.
mean, really, that's your first thing. You're talking to a wrestler, and the first thing you're going to it's called World Wrestling Entertainment. I mean, it's like going to Nicolas Cage. Oh yeah, you didn't really flip that car in your movie. Like, no, I didn't. Like, like, what do you want me to say? It's just.
Well, I don't understand why a lot of these reporters get it in their head that they're going to ask that question. I mean, whoever sent him out there, maybe they should have done some research. Maybe the guy just don't like wrestling and he was the wrong reporter for it.
Well, no, the way Austin Theory was talking, he was the boss of that whole office that he was in. You have to watch he's like, because he said, I understand you run some shit, but y'all bring me here to do media and you're going to talk to me like this, you know, so.
Yeah, and it just makes you look small. And again, it's like, oh, I'm going to take this big bad wrestler down a peg or two. It's like,
Yeah.
it's like-
Newsflash,
like
the
you're-
cat's
you're
been out of the
25
bag for years.
right. You're
Yeah.
you're 30 years too late, man.
Yeah.
You're not breaking any story here. So
Yeah.
don't, I mean, it's just
Right.
it's played out.
Well, I posted on Twitter how I thought that Australian media had been disrespectful to him, and that's just those two incidents. That's not.
You
we
think
didn't
it
see
might?
anything.
You think he might have been doing it to hopefully to think maybe there would be some controversy and he can get some extra
Yeah.
clicks on his story?
Yeah,
Pop a rating. Yeah.
yeah, probably. I mean, that seems to be what everything on the internet is now is clickbait. I mean, YouTube is just getting ridiculous, like with some of the thumbnails people put
And
up.
if
the
poor Bobby
videos.
Dalton doesn't stop clicking on them links on Facebook, whew, he
What-
keeps getting poor Bobby every
What has he
day. I
done?
see one come up. He's like, "Don't accept a new friend request from me."
Oh yeah.
Like, click it. Bobby. PSA: stop clicking on those links. They're not from your friends. They're not from us. Don't click on the links.
But that I guarantee you nobody found that dog down the street.
And there is not a video of that car chase.
Right.
Yeah, safe interneting, and yeah, just stay off the sleazy parts of the internet. Just view everything on the internet as a scam unless you absolutely know the person posting it. So anyway,
First of all,
great-
where did Seth Rollins get these pants? I mean, because
Seth Rollins is quite the fashion plate the last
Michael
year or
and
so.
Booger.
I was getting ready to say the same thing. Those pants are straight out of 2005 skinny independent wrestling guy.
Yeah.
Oh well, that's
Gimmick
the
by
web.
Hot Topic.
Yeah, that's where he got it. At 2005 skinny gimmick wrestling guy.com. Yeah, well
Maybe
known.
we should start that.
Yeah.
That should be. We have come up with a business idea.
Yeah.
Copyright
And-
pending.
Yeah, and the Velveteen Dream sunglasses.
Yeah. Did he have the 3 lens gimmick before?
Do they
Um,
flip down or is it just got 3 of them because he's trying to make people think he's got a third eye?
It's the third eye thing.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's shades for your third eye.
Although Velveteen Dream, he got in some trouble down in Florida. I mean, he might. Never mind.
Over the third eye, but
Yeah.
we'll not go there.
Yeah, he was looking at the wrong things. Let's see. But he asked for forgiveness, so we'll let
Where
him-
is Cody's pocket watch? You had a pocket watch when he got there, and he had his suit on and a pocket watch in his pocket.
Would you go to Australia, which was founded as a penal colony with a fucking gold pocket watch hanging out of your pocket? I sure as
He
hell
said
wouldn't.
penal.
Just daring them.
He is daring them.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't. I mean, it's been bred into them for hundreds of years, man. They can't help it. You know, something shiny like that hanging out, somebody's going to grab it. Anyway, so they had a nice conversation. Grayson asked him some asshole-ish like questions and everything, but nobody got too mad.
Who's the guy with a mic?
Grayson Waller.
Who's he?
He came from NXT. He's just recently come to the main roster. He hadn't wrestled much. Hangs around
Oh,
Austin.
so he's a wrestler, not a interviewer.
No.
No,
But it
also
has-
Australian, hence having the show on the pay-per-view.
Yeah, and as you can see, he's friends with Austin Theory. Oh, well, here, let me Austin Theory here. And Austin Theory came out and told some real bad jokes to try to piss off the Australian crowd. He said after he leaves here, he's going to go back home to America and eat some real Australian food at Outback Steakhouse.
I did hear that, and I laughed and laughed and laughed.
Which
I
is
thought he was gonna
funny
say
to
he's
us
gonna wipe down with
Americans.
some Fosters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which was funny to us Americans, but I doubt many people in Perth have ever heard of Outback Steakhouse. Yeah,
I think they've heard of it and they're mad because it's an American chain restaurant who just gave itself an Australian gimmick.
yeah, and that's what it is. If you've ever been in one, because there's nothing about that menu that's Australian that I can
They
tell.
don't even salt the goddamn steak.
Wait.
So
A bloomin' onion's not authentic Australian food?
No,
No, I'm
because when
sorry.
Theory asked the crowd about a bloomin' onion, they booed.
I do, and maybe the only thing is that sometimes they'll put shrimp on a steak.
Yeah.
Everything's a lie. That's
God, this show has just broke me tonight.
This is broke Rick Diesel's mind tonight.
Yeah.
We'll find out that Dusty Rhodes was the Midnight Rider. And then you really say, Charlie Brown was actually Jimmy Valiant. And now you inform me that blooming onions, not authentic Australian food. What's
well,
real anymore?
I don't care what y'all say, and I missed that part, but Dusty was only allegedly the Midnight Rider.
yeah, they never proved it. They never proved it.
That's
And
true.
Barry Windham got his mask one time, and they still.
Yeah, I don't
couldn't-
even think they proved that the bullet was Bob Arm. I think
No.
we don't. Allegedly, the bullet was Bob
Yeah.
Armstrong. I don't think
Right.
I don't know. They done that in every company he wrestled in.
Oh my lord!
Hey, that's getting mileage.
Not to tell tales out of school, but you know why Bob would put the mask on and wrestle as the Bullet? Yeah, he
Why?
was having a bad hair day.
Looked like he had one of those every day.
That is straight from Brian and Scott and them. Bob would put the hood on if he was having a bad hair day.
Well, hey.
Well, he
you
should have
know,
never took it off.
Yeah, I know his
Right.
hair was terrible.
He didn't in Continental. I've been watching I'm in 2 years deep in that. I don't think he's been there as Bob Armstrong, but maybe once.
It's
well,
the humidity.
yeah. It's something.
Mechanic on those curls.
Yeah, because he always wrestled down south, so we don't know if he'd went up north where it was colder and drier if that would have straightened out, right? So
Oh,
the big story that came out of this was Cody Rhodes said he wasn't busy until WrestleMania and challenged The Rock to a one-on-one match. And they don't have any more premium live events or pay-per-views coming up before WrestleMania. So we might get that on a Raw or a SmackDown. And you want to talk about popping a rating. If they do that on SmackDown, on Fox, on a broadcast TV network, all right, they average about 2 million for SmackDown, between 1.5, 2 million for SmackDown every week, right? Unless it's like an off week or a holiday or they're showing a best of or some bullshit like that, or it gets preempted to FS1. If they have The Rock and Cody Rhodes on SmackDown, 3.5 to 4 million. I think they'll pop another million easy. Easy.
Oh yeah.
So maybe even 2. Can you imagine if you were able to build it up for about a month and advertise it? And Fox has NASCAR right now. And, you know, you used to get 3 SmackDown ads during every NASCAR race, at least. You know, for 3 weeks, you got it. In 3 weeks, ladies and gentlemen, The Rock takes on Cody Rhodes right here on Fox, you know. And The Rock was the Grand Marshal for the Daytona 500, so there's tie-ins there. Telling you, man, I see a lot of money to be made with this, you know. So, but anyways, that was the big thing. And then Austin Theory did some bad Rock impersonations, and they beat him up and threw him out of the ring. Threw him through a sign.
I'm interested in, is those wrestling boots that Seth Rollins is wearing, and if so, are they platforms?
Yes, and yes. I don't know if they're wrestling boots, but I know he wears platform shoes a lot out to the ring for promos.
Okay.
Yeah.
because he's stylish. That's the
For
style,
sure.
Rick Diesel.
Maybe
Platform.
he's short.
I've seen him in person a few
You know,
times.
I was speaking of people that wear lifts in their shoes. You know, I've been really watching that NWA on CW, on the CW app, and they're blunt force trauma guys, big guys. I'm not saying they're not big guys, but their cushions are a little high on their boots. So.
You tell
Yes.
me they got Thunder Feet boots.
Oh, worse, man. If they would have kicked you with one of these boots, take your head plumb off or squash it like an eggplant. But I think Seth does go over a little over the top with his platform sometimes. I mean, basically they're high heels for men. I mean, even Gene Simmons is sitting somewhere watching this going, God damn, boy, that's a tall shoe.
Because Becky Lynch was wearing some for the thing before that she had. What do they call them? Where they do the things like UFC, you know, where
Press-
they do the
press
Huh?
conference.
Press
Weigh-ins.
like she was wearing big platforms
Yeah.
also.
Did you see the shoes Bianca wore to that thing?
Yes, and the fact that's the one thing like when she got in, I guess it was they did that all the big thing on Raw where they all got in the ring and she got in there with them shoes and then was fighting people with them. I was like, that's pretty impressive because it's hard as hell to walk in a ring with high heels on.
I don't know how you girls do it, but you know, I know if for all the guys out there, if you're leg men, you like it when Bianca comes out to ringside with those heels on and those short skirts, because I mean she's got legs to the sky, and I don't mean to objectify her, but because she's a great wrestler, but God Almighty, man. So
She's got legs for days, I'll say it.
Yep, she sure does. God
Y'all-
bless. Well, she was a track star in high school and college. And she comes from Tennessee, so she got a steady diet of pintos and cornbread when she was growing up. So that explains it. I mean, she's a very healthy individual. So anyway, moving on. Speaking of healthy, T's Treats is our most
Ain't
delicious
nothing healthy
sponsor.
about that. That's what's so good.
Yeah, man. They are a locally owned food truck that are based in Mount Airy. They do the concessions at the Mid Atlantic shows, and they will be there for the anniversary show both days, right this weekend, Rick Diesel.
Yes, sir. And they are bringing the new John Holmes corn dogs.
All right, John Holmes corn dogs.
That is a deep, deep cut.
Yeah. But you ought to still give them a name similar to that, but like tie it in with the brand. And I don't know how you'll do it, but just food for thought. But anyway,
We
Call
can
them
talk
the
Peter
Lamont.
North. You would call them the Peter North dogs. That's the newest.
Call them
There
the
you go.
Lamont.
the Lamont.
We call it the Teeter North.
Great pizza, delicious dogs, and decadent desserts, and now featuring mini donuts and the John Holmes corn dog, available for any event, music festivals, athletic tournaments, and street festivals. And and look, for some of you guys who are uneasy about that certain things, if you eat a corn dog, that does not automatically make you gay. I just want you to know that. Okay.
Oh my God, if you're so goddamn fragile that a fucking corn dog makes you feel like you're gay, you might need to reevaluate your life.
That's why I set that up. I thought of that when Rick Diesel said John Holmes, and I was like, I can make a one-liner out of this. Let's see.
If that's the case, they're gonna sell horribly at Merle Fest. Them mountain boys up there, they won't touch them things. Like, hey, touching that'll make my butt feel funny.
If you stare at a gay person long enough, you'll turn gay.
Is that's good rationalization.
Yeah.
Wasn't my fault.
Wasn't my fault. Wasn't my fault that Caden Pierre looks so good and pink.
It wasn't my fault Con O'Kelly smells so good.
It's not my fault that they both look better than my wife.
Listen,
Allegedly.
Oh Lord, that's like
at the risk of sounding weird, I will say Con O'Kelly can pull off some damn sheer outfits, I guess.
Negligees.
The what?
Negligees.
Yes, that's it.
Similar to the negligee.
And lay off the adverbs.
Con O'Kelly has a unique ability to be flamboyant but not sleazy, and walk
Right.
that line. And
Stylish.
And Con O'Kelly can go, and he's been getting better and better, as we've been going along. And we bring him up because of his fashion sense. But as far as his ability in the ring, he's been improving a whole lot. And I have never met a pro wrestler at any level that could go and wrestle in the ring for 10 or 15 minutes, go back to the dressing room. And after 10 minutes and there's not a shower facility there in the back, right? And so,
Right.
So most people just bring fresh clothes or whatever. Con O'Kelly will come out smelling like a damn Yankee candle after his match. And I don't know how the man does it, because you don't smell a lot of cologne on him or nothing like that. It's just, he has figured out some secret to hygiene and smell good that, brother, if you can figure out a way to bottle it, you will go and become a millionaire. I'm telling you.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than a stinky man coming out of a ring and then covering himself in Axe body spray.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely not doing that.
Well, and Con's he's been popping up in a lot of places too here lately.
Oh man, yeah.
He just a couple of months ago he was he wrestled for GCW
Yeah.
at these big gay brunch down in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody kiss my ass. I don't never notice these guys as much till after they come through here. And it's like after they come through here a few times, all of a sudden they get harder and harder to get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'll take credit for it. I don't give a damn what nobody says, because it didn't happen before they come through here.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not a coincidence.
We know you're watching, and we can see you. Promoters, we know you're watching. But we're glad you're watching. Don't
we
stop.
got your number, promoters.
Some of them even stand in the room with you and watch.
Oh Lord, I was about to take this down a real dark road. I need to move on. Let's see.
Don't give me. I'm telling you, you got to be careful with what you say because I might expound on what you say. Is that right?
Expand.
Brian,
Expand.
Brian, please repeat the adjective statement to her. She's having troubles again.
I don't think.
Well, I said adverbs, but yeah,
Right.
we might have to add adjectives to that too.
It's not my fault. I had surgery.
Blame it on the medication.
336-755-8204 for to call up Tees Treats to find out where they're going to be at or book them at your
Man, we
event.
did went off the rails there.
Yeah, I had to bring it back. It was during a read, so
Yeah, we did.
money actually exchanges hands because of these, so we got to bring it back. But look, man, I like the hot dogs. Reagan likes the chicken tenders. Rick Diesel, what's your favorite thing going on in Tees Treats right now?
Well, I there's not much in there I don't like, to be honest with you. So
Yeah.
I do like the chicken tenders. See, here's what I like though. I like get me one of those little trays.
Boats. They're
Yeah,
called-
whatever that you want to call it. A boat. Well, anyway.
Yeah, in my shoot job when we have those, they're called boats. When
Oh, okay.
people get
Oh.
breakfast and stuff in them, they're called boats.
I got you. Well, I like putting French fries and then some chicken tenders and then more French fries and then ketchup, chili, and cheese.
That sounds
That's an
pretty
interesting
good.
conversation.
Yeah.
That would almost, I think that would chicken and chili on the same thing.
Yeah. And
I don't know
chicken,
that I
chili,
should-
and cheese. Chicken tenders with chili and cheese is a lot better than you think it is.
That sounds pretty
That
good.
does sound good.
Yeah, I might sneak out and get Matt Classic to do some ring announcing Saturday night and be like, "Hey, Trista, make me up one of your dad's specials." But 336-755-8204 Tees Treats. Oh man, and the milkshakes and all the desserts are freaking fantastic, and it's just absolutely to die for. So
We're also going next week to look at the possibility of adding a couple of new things.
all right. So check them out. Come see them. And we move on with our Elimination Chamber coverage.
Wait, where was the Rhea Ripley match?
It was after this one.
Last.
Oh, I told you I fell asleep, not because it was boring, but because I fell asleep.
Why call it Elimination Chamber if the Elimination Chamber match is not going to be the main event?
That is a good question.
That is a good question.
I thought about that myself. And all right, so here's the conundrum you're in. Do you put Rhea on before this? Because
Yes.
the crowd's going to give her the biggest pop. And I think that
that's
they were
true, the hometown girl.
Yeah, and I think that they were legitimately afraid that this match, the crowd wouldn't be as into it if it went on after Rhea. That was my
I
thought.
could see that with her being as over as she is anyway, plus being in her home country.
Well,
Yeah,
they call it the Rhea Ripley Chamber.
I was thinking that too. It'd be funny. That's called Rhea's Chamber.
I mean, come on, just stick to stick to the show notes, do it right, and the fans they'll appreciate it. I'm telling you, there was out of 53,000 people, maybe 3,000 was there for Rhea Ripley. The other 50 was probably there for this cage match.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
I don't know.
I think it might have been a good combine. They were really, I mean, the only reason I say that is because like they were even like over for that Indy Hartwell. Is that her?
Yeah, they were into it.
They were over for her, and she was on the pre-show. So
Yeah, and they didn't die afterwards, did they?
No.
Exactly.
They were quiet during the Finn Balor match, the Judgment Day match.
Yeah.
They were quiet during, but that's because they were tired and it was hot, and they
Don't like British people.
well, and they're right not to like them because they're still part of the UK technically. But
Keep in mind, Brits is the one that started that island.
yeah, and they but they are like, I think that was the match that everybody went to concessions and everything because it was warm. You heard the announcers talking about
yeah, they
how
said
warm
it'd
it
been
was.
over 100. Like,
Yeah.
because I said to Brian, I was like, hope those elimination chambers have air conditioner in them. Or you're gonna see people dying like dogs in a car.
Well, they have fans under the pods. Did you see the fans when they would shoot down into it? You could see the fans.
Oh,
under
couldn't.
the
No, I
pods just
couldn't.
spinning. Yeah, so I don't know if they had any coolant blowing in there. Probably not, but nonetheless, it was time for the men's elimination chamber. And Logan Paul was walking in there thinking he was probably gonna get beat up quite a bit, but I don't think he had any idea what was coming. Because he got his ass kicked a lot. LA Knight was real over in Australia. That was nice. Drew McIntyre.
I'm gonna tell you what,
first.
Drew McIntyre is now my absolutely favorite wrestler all time because he does TikToks with his cat. And so now I love Drew McIntyre.
He also wears a skirt to the ring like Roddy Piper used to.
It's not a skirt, it's a kilt. Call it the right thing.
I love Drew's kilt though, because it's like very manly. It looks like you could go to war in it. It's made out of leather, you know. He used to have a sword with it, but
I'm going to make an argument here. It's not a kilt because he's got something on underneath it.
oh,
I think mostly now though modern people who wear kilts usually wear stuff underneath them because they're usually doing some kind of strongman competition with them.
I don't think it'd be smart to go in battle with your balls free hanging. I just don't.
Not anymore, anyway.
No, I don't even think it was safe in the 1500s, but it's a wonder.
I was starting to say, if they don't wear that none of them kilts, I'm gonna start watching that girl with the bagpipes more often.
If it's a wonder any of us are here. So anyway, it was a great match. I thought this was the best match on the card. I saw that Logan Paul was writing something on the inside of his chamber, but we couldn't really see it on the TV broadcast, but that's what it was. Kevin sucks, and he wrote that backwards from the inside.
I was getting ready to say, I'm very impressed that he wrote that well backwards.
Yeah, it was very good, very good.
I bet he's used to it from his YouTubes because you have to be careful with stuff being backwards when you do those sometimes, because it's gonna flip. Sometimes it will flip the
picture.
I
got you. Well, so things started to break down when Bobby Lashley got eliminated, because one of the downsides about the Elimination Chamber is it's got a big giant door that you have to open to drag the wrestlers out after they've been eliminated. And we've seen over the years people take advantage of that.
So Mickey Fulton done a run in.
There were 4 referees out there for this match. 2 of them, Engler and Chad Patton, senior referees. And this was the worst breakdown of officiating since we had that damn battle royal with the confusing ending at the anniversary show that Rob McBride was involved with. It had 4 referees at ringside. Nobody could figure out who the hell won because it was some really bad officiating, right? And look, I understand there's only so much they can do. They're not allowed to put their hands on the wrestlers, but they left the gate open too long, and AJ Styles came in the ring with a chair and proceeded to frail the hell out of LA Knight with the chair and break it. You can see it's broken right there. The metal piece on the top is bent up, right? That's not a special effect from the camera, guys. That chair was legit broken, and he gave him the freaking, what does he call that move? The Styles Clash right onto it. And I just knew, I was sitting there thinking, dear God, LA Knight is going to he's going to get laid open to the bone right here, you know. But thankfully, this is not AEW, and that did not happen. And
and they got that guy from the Jersey Shore ref in there.
Okay, so let's pause right here for a minute.
Yeah.
Good point. The self-tanner that the WWE is going through right now does not look good. And I'm going to go all the way back to Raw because Cody Rhodes had his tape on his hands and it was brown because his tanner was coming off on the tape. So whatever self-tanner they're using right now is terrible. So just move on to a different brand.
Well, that just tells me that when you buy them cut down canvases from High Spots, they're gonna have a darker bronzer on them now.
I was about to say, Rick Diesel, but this is great news for the independents in the canvas industry, right? Because they're going to be
making the High Spots quicker.
Yes, more canvases are coming to the indies, but hit LA Knight with a Styles Clash, which caused him to get eliminated. And then we're getting down to the nitty gritty right here. Logan Paul, because of all the chaos that went on with that, Logan Paul gets out his brass knucks that he used to beat Rey Mysterio with and win the title back last year. And it's no DQ, right? He's right in front of the referees, putting it on, bragging. I got this. Randy Orton hits an RKO. Wham! 1, 2, 3. Logan Paul's eliminated, but he does not immediately leave, even though the cage door is open. Again, there are 4 referees there.
It looks like he's got a banana between his legs. It looks like a gigantic. You know how they do the 3D things when they come in? That looks like a 3D banana between his legs.
I will not be able to unsee that now.
Yeah.
That's why I've got that keen eye that makes such a good television show. Oh my God. Hopefully I'm not this way next week.
Peanut butter jelly time. Peanut butter jelly time. Here's another deep cut for you kids born in the early 2000s. Let's see. And so Logan Paul's sitting there kind of dejected with his knucks. Randy Orton had hurt his back earlier in the match, and I legit hope he is not out for another year because of this shit. It looked bad. Orton gets to his feet. Logan Paul cracks him in the head with the knucks. He sneaks, he crumples down in a heap. He didn't even fall on his back. Drew McIntyre rolled him over, covered him with one arm, 1, 2, 3. Orton didn't move after that shot with the knucks. That's the way he looked when he fell. Well, no, not when he fell.
So is my man Drew McIntyre going to be is he the winner?
Yes, he won. He is going on. He's going on.
I should have made it. I was going to try to watch it today, but I've been asleep all day today too. So
you should try and watch it. It's really, really, it was the best match of the night by far. And extremely exciting. The crowd stayed engaged the whole time. The funniest thing was, as I was watching the live version and the countdown clock was malfunctioning, it would come up on the screen and count down to 0 and then flip back over to 10 and count down again. And so the crowd was actually booing it. Now, when you watch it now, they've got it fixed, right? They just changed the graphic and fixed it. But it was funny when it was going on live. But and it happened in the women's and the men's match. And I'm sure Slim Jim's not happy about that because their logo was supposed to be on. Huh?
You think the Heat could have messed with it?
It could have. It could have been. You know, the heat and electronics do not go well together.
No.
So Drew McIntyre's off to face Seth Rollins at WrestleMania.
And, I know that Seth Rollins is rehabbing a knee on his own, so it should be interesting to see what happens.
Oh, Drew will probably attack his knee tomorrow night on Raw.
Do you know, I was talking to Brian. Do you remember, you didn't watch WCW as much as when I was, they would do that thing where somebody would win on the pay-per-view Sunday and then go to Nitro and then they would lose the belt. They did that so many times.
Yeah, I hated that
shit.
But oh, it was worse than TNA in the early days when Jeff Jarrett was there. I think I saw a video on YouTube where he lost on pay-per-view and won the title back on the TV show the very next time, like 8 or 10 times that happened over a 3-year stretch. So, but anyway, all right. So on last, the main event was Nia Jax against Australia's own Rhea Bloody Ripley.
So that's my question is, this is one of my questions. And like the crowd was so against Judgment Day. And it seems like everybody is against Judgment Day except when she comes out. So
That's
it's
exactly
like,
right.
And like, why is she staying with them? Like at this point, she's so over that,
you got to keep all the goth kids together.
Yeah. And honestly, I mean, I think she still wants to use them to her advantage. She needs Dom or somebody.
I guess I noticed because of the big difference between like when they came out for that tag belt, like how the crowd just hated them. So
yeah, the Judgment Day are pretty despised. And I've been watching the Judgment Day since they started. And I don't know if y'all remember me months and months ago last year talking about how Rhea just like grates on my nerves and how annoying she is when she comes out and she licks her teeth and does that smile. And I don't know, it's still annoying, but she's grown on me. Is not like I mean, I've always known what a great wrestler she was and everything. She just, the mark in me was just like, God, I hate your face. You
do have something against people with big teeth. This is the second time you've mentioned women's big teeth.
Oh, well, Aubrey Edwards has giant Mr. Ed type teeth. Rhea, I just think it's unique that she licks her teeth. And I'm not really into goth chicks, but Rhea's pretty. And and so, and she's big and she's strong. She's rough and
She's
tough.
definitely Triple H's type.
Evident. Well, maybe in his 20s, but not for a lifetime. She's more X-Pac type.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
but anyway, before we go any closer to disrespecting the dead, let's move on. These girls went back and forth. I mean, it was a really good match, and I was afraid because Nia Jax typically does not have the best matches, but she had good matches with Asuka back years ago in NXT, and I was hoping Rhea would be able to get a good match out of her here, and they did okay. I mean, they got through it, and it was entertaining. It went back and forth, a lot of power moves. We got to see Rhea throw a drop kick, which you typically do not see women her size do. And I've never seen her do it before, but she threw a running drop kick in this match, and it was a thing of beauty. She didn't hit it square, but both feet were up there. Rick Diesel, you look like
Jax
you
looks
got
like a pregnant anaconda.
I've said this before. Like I think that Nia Jax is an attractive woman. I mean, I think she's attractive and but I guess maybe unless she wears that gear to get people to hate her, like then that would be a very smart move on her part. Because people already hate her, and then she's going to dress the part to make people hate her even more. But I've said before, her outfits are not flattering.
I don't think she could attract bears with a picnic basket.
She has a very pretty face. It's like she has Jennifer Lopez's head on Refrigerator Perry's body. Oh my God. And I'm fat, and I shouldn't say that.
I'm fat too, but
as a fat girl, I try my best to actually say the word for me. Accentuate the parts that are mine that are not nice. So it is. I'm terrible. I'm fat shaming. I'm sorry. I shouldn't say.
no,
I can't call you out on it. Though.
I'm outfit shaming. I did because who was
so she could wear an outfit that would be more flattering to her.
Yeah.
I would not talk shit about Nia Jax if she did not hurt people by being reckless.
Yeah.
I do.
That's my biggest issue with her too.
Right.
Yeah. Now she has not done that lately, but
yeah, that's
you know
true.
what? Keep up the good work, and eventually I will get past it. But it ain't me you got to worry about. It's your coworkers. Because if people are like, hey, we're thinking about putting you in a program with Nia. No, man, that bitch is dangerous. Can you find me somebody else? That's not good.
I would think of all her career right now, she's probably over the most she's been in a long, long time. And when I say over, I know people don't like her, but they're really buying into the hating her right now. And the things I have seen her do lately have been a little bit better. But yeah, you're right. It's like if she didn't,
she needs more personality too, because when she cuts a promo in the ring, it's always like, I'm better than everyone else.
It is. It's terrible. She is terrible on the mic. She should be.
Nepotism will never die in her.
No,
because it's not because she's big that she hurts people. Awesome Kong didn't hurt people.
No, she's reckless.
Yeah, she is, and it's and it's like it's not just happened once or twice. I mean, how many times? I mean, it's happened tons of times.
Yeah,
and I don't know. I do like her boots. Those are nice.
Yeah, and
Goldust would be proud.
She's got she's got some good heat going right now, because I noticed, especially like, you'll see people like when she comes to the ring and starts talking, you'll see people across from the hard cam at ringside jump up and start pointing and shouting obscenities at her. So something's working.
It's like, but then it's like that thing. Is she over, or do people really hate her?
Yeah,
like,
it might be go home heat. I don't know, but
I think
that is not a flattering picture.
Do what, Rick Diesel? I'm sorry.
I think people just don't like her.
Yeah,
but she's not going anywhere.
No,
because of who her family is. Period.
Yep. Well, I mean, if she would have landed on Rhea's face and broke her nose during this match,
Nobody wants to piss off that family.
Yeah.
I think they would have got rid of her for a while like they did before and then bring her back.
Yeah, I believe they'll do. I do believe that it'll be okay. You got to go away for a while, but we'll bring you back. Don't worry. You know.
Yep. And impressive here, Rhea Ripley hit a superplex off the top rope here, and the ring didn't collapse because both of them are. I'm not just talking about Nia. Rhea's a big girl too, and so they landed. Rhea hits the riptide, and of course, Mommy's always on top. 1, 2, 3, and Rhea Ripley wins the match. Place goes nuts. But this right here is my favorite. They ended the pay-per-view with this, and this is my favorite picture from all the ones of the show. There's Rhea, there's Mom, there's Dad, random family member, but there's her sister. Can you tell? Remember when Rhea first came around? She had blonde hair. She's a natural.
The girl in the blue, the
Yes,
denim.
that's her sister. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. She did look like that, didn't she?
Yes.
I liked her better when she looked like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think
know.
they did that.
To me, she's much more attractive without all the tattoos and the
I
goth
think-
makeup.
I think so too, but I think when she came along, like when she was coming up through NXT, she had longer blonde hair. And when they started to move her up to the main roster, they already had Charlotte there. So the
Yeah.
first thing they had her do
Oh,
was
yeah.
cut her hair, and then she went black. And so now she's turned that into a good look. But yeah, her whole family, not her whole family was there, but Mom and Dad and sister and cousins, and it was a lot
Looks
of
like
her
a
family.
creepy aunt that just wants to rub her leg.
Yeah, and like, please give me some. That's probably the one that asked her for money all the time.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
remember me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But look, like this lady right here, like has got one of her old school shirts on. Looks like maybe from the Independents, right? Because she's always kind of done that metalhead gimmick. Oh wait,
Yeah.
see that?
Yeah.
Okay. And so I was circling on the preview thing.
This is my only problem with okay. This is my only problem of and this is going away from the storyline. Like I don't like pay-per-views before like huge pay-per-views like WrestleMania because you might not know who's going to win the Elimination Chamber, but you know for certain that Rhea Ripley's not going to drop a title before WrestleMania. You
Mhm.
know that they're not going
Right.
to drop tag belts before WrestleMania. Like you know those things aren't going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing about that. That and you know maybe I don't know. That's my only thing about some pay-per-views when they have big matches like this. It's just you know that Nia Jax is not going to go into WrestleMania to with the belt. You know that's not going to happen.
Well, the announcers even said it before the match that Rhea Ripley was heavily favored. I think the reason they did it is because of what we were just talking about. People hate Nia Jax. They want to see Rhea get a win in her home country.
Yeah,
Who better for her to kick the shit out of?
that's
And,
true.
You
That's
know,
true.
so and it was great. And her little sister seems to be genuinely just, beside herself, thrilled that this is happening. And so that was really cool. And yes, Rhea has come a long way from when she walked into wrestling school as just a kid, a metalhead from Adelaide. They said that walked into wrestling school one day. I think they said she started training when she was 15. So pretty impressive. She's come a long way. And anybody that's not born in this country, for you to leave your home country and come to a foreign land to pursue your dreams and career goals. And the US is a pretty good country. We don't suck too bad, but it's still not home and it's still scary. Like, if I can't imagine it to do the reverse. If I had to go move to Australia for my job, I'd be scared shitless. Rick Diesel will tell you before I went to the Philippines for 3 weeks in July, scared shitless. It is a scary thing. And
that wasn't your longest trip over there.
No, it's just the first time I've been there in 10 years.
It's true. I mean, because there are people when you think about who've never even left their home state.
No, exactly.
And to come to do you get any further away? I mean, really?
It's literally across the world.
I mean, and to be able to come here and to make something out of your life is impressive. But yeah, that sacrifice is hard. I'm sure because that's so far from your family. That's what is it? 26 hours from here to there?
Yeah, to Sydney. I think from LAX to Sydney is like 26 hours. So add another 5 for your flight to LA from here.
I mean, that's
On the East
just, I
Coast.
mean, yeah. And so it's good to see that she's doing well, like to take that chance. Cause I mean, it's almost parallel a little bit, sort of, to Paige. She started in the UK at really young and then came here and stuff and made a name for herself, even though I would say she's blown her out of the water, but
Yeah, it's hard to compare anybody with Rhea Ripley.
yeah.
And I just hate that you guys have just started watching wrestling again and did not get to see her progression up through NXT, because like the first time you laid eyes on her, you're like, the fuck is this bitch? And then you realize real quick, like, she is not playing games in the ring. She does not have wasted motion. I mean, she's just good. And so yeah, it's scary, man. I don't think I could do it. And think about all the other WWE people that are here from foreign lands. At least Rhea has the advantage of we share a common language, right? They have different expressions in Australia, but it's still English. Think about the Japanese wrestlers: Nakamura, Asuka, Kairi Sane, Io Sky, all those guys that come here. And if they're not talking to each other, who are they talking to? I mean, I'm sure they can speak a serviceable amount of English, but not enough to where you could have a deep conversation about, your feelings, and you're worried about mom back home. And, because when Kairi Sane left the first time from WWE, this was right before the pandemic, there was a video of Asuka telling her goodbye with subtitles. And she said, since you're leaving, the only other person I have to talk to is my mother, and she's still back home, and I can only call her on the phone. And that made me so sad, because like, here you are, this millionaire, you're making all this money, you're a big TV star. If you go anywhere in public and you're not in disguise, you're going to get mobbed for autographs, but you miss your mother and you're homesick. It's just.
See, now.
Don't, just stop. Just stop. Don't. Just
Let him
stop.
cook. Let him
Stop.
cook. Let him
Nope.
cook.
It's fine. It's fine. Don't
You're
Don't
gonna
do
cry.
I'm telling you not to, even though I'm out of my mind right now, I'm telling you, don't do it. Don't do it.
Just let him go.
I'm sorry, but I just can't help thinking of Bobby Dalton coming all the way from Galax.
Yeah. See, now don't you feel bad?
I do feel bad.
You don't have nobody to talk to. Nobody understands a damn word he says. It's like a foreign language.
Oh Lord.
Oh my
I'm gonna
God.
give him a hug Saturday now.
Behind the table goes to sleep.
I want everybody to give Bobby Dalton a hug Saturday and say, we feel your pain, Bobby.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord.
Rick Diesel will do that, take care of it at our level. Anybody that works in the WWE, go up and just give Asuka and Kairi Sane a big hug and tell them you
Get it.
understand. Yeah, you get it. Of course, you better not do that unless you know them real well, because they seem like the type of girls that would put a finger in your eye and snap marry you into the floor and give you a couple of swift kicks to the ribs if any unwanted touching was even thought to maybe have a small chance of happening in the next 5 seconds. So, but anyway,
but
big anniversary show coming up this weekend. It's going to be good to get back to wrestling.
oh yeah.
Our wrestling. Yeah. And
Every time we go up there and work on the new set, which will be debuting at the anniversary show, the new entranceway and everything. I mean, we just sit there and we talk. God, it's just how much longer? It's just driving us crazy.
I think my wife's enjoyed the time off, because I looked at her today and I was like, we got wrestling next weekend. And the look was kind of a shock, surprise, but I couldn't really tell. Yeah, it wasn't disappointment, but it wasn't happiness either. So, but I'm trying to tell.
Get back into doing something.
I'm like, just if you'd come inside, But anyways, so yeah, we'll be there for the anniversary show this weekend. Then we get back to Mid Atlantic TV tapings on the 16th, which is going to be great. Man, it's hard to believe it's March already. It seems like it was just Christmas, and so, and the time goes by quicker every year. When you're a little kid, man, it just drags. It seemed like one Christmas to the next just took forever. But ever since I hit my 20s, time seems to be moving faster. And then when I hit my 30s, it picked up again. Now that I've hit my 40s, it's picked up again. And now that I'm
It's
pushing,
even worse when you have children.
and even, yeah, I can
Even worse.
imagine. Oh, man. Yeah. Because you're like,
Wah, wah, wah.
Well, you
Wow,
get
it
in
was-
your 50s and you can barely move at all.
yeah.
Hey,
I'm
Right.
there.
Ron's almost 50 and he's doing pretty well for himself.
Things
so far
change.
so good. It's not jinxed me.
Mhm.
I say that Brian's got an advantage over every one of us because of the industry that he works in. Because he knows the consequences of what not to do and very well. And so it's like you get a reminder every day when you go, yep, need to avoid that type of behavior, need to avoid that.
I do want to go on to a serious note of I think we need to start a GoFundMe for
Bobby Dalton.
for the ladies of the NWA to afford new fishnets because I'm getting tired of watching every single show with ripped up fishnets.
They probably all share the same pair.
It's terrible. Go to Spirit Halloween the day after Halloween and just get you a bunch of fishnets and then you'll have them. But like, it's pitiful. It's
'Cause
pitiful that
'cause
Billy
they're not-
Corgan can't pay for some fishnets.
Well, because and it's not like they're ripped, like not like they have holes like to be cool. It's like they're not like strategically placed in several places. You can tell that they're just torn.
And it
Yes,
makes,
I remember Brian and Reagan, they sit back in the dressing room and make holes in there.
yeah,
Right, yeah.
we would cut them and we'd repair them.
Do it just specific. But like I said, NWA is the world's biggest independent. You got to look at it for what it is. They got some sort of TV deal. Good for them. Awesome for them.
Hey, and I have been enjoying watching them. Like I've had so much fun watching them. Now, they're women wrestlers. They're
They
terrible.
pull them straight out of the armories and
No, I'll tell you where they pull them straight out of. That's not on. I won't say any names or anything. But I sent you the thing that said that was linked in Wikipedia. That's gone now on that person's.
Okay.
So that's interesting.
Well,
And
no, they have a couple who are really good.
like Camille, she's really good.
But she's gone.
And
Yeah,
then-
she's
Yeah, I
gone.
thought Camille
and
left.
then that redhead.
Oh yeah, there's a girl, Miss something. She's redhead. She wears pants or like capris, and she wrestled a guy, and it was it was such a good like mix.
Yeah, I seen that match.
Because what was good about it is they didn't put it strength to strength. They put it to like the move she did could beat him. So they
Yeah.
were taking out his leg, working his arm, like all this other stuff that made
That
it
was
very believable.
That was that title thing, wasn't it?
No, that was Max the Impaler.
That was Max the
and,
Impaler,
Mims.
Mims.
But
But
the girl you're talking about, I've seen her work too, though.
yeah, I just missed something. But I don't know. But I have enjoyed it. I'm glad to have something else to watch on TV because I've said a ton of times, the more wrestling's on TV, the better product it will be.
Yeah.
Better it is for the indies too.
Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Hopefully these surging WWE numbers will lead to surging numbers for us as we move through the year. We'll see. It's going to be a big year in wrestling, not all for good reasons, because I was listening to Dutch Mantel's podcast, and we'll touch on this and get out of here. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but
Oh, good Lord, it's 8:00.
he said that he thinks that the stuff with Vince McMahon is going to get worse before it gets better. And I really believe, because we talked about that a few weeks ago, after they go to Discovery, if there's not a big payoff and this thing goes to trial, or there ends up being criminal charges filed, in a few months, this is all going to come back up again. And if it goes to trial, good Lord, the details that are going to come out.
Mhm.
You know,
My fear is just, it's one of those things. It's like the more we find out, the more we're going to be disappointed with who we think are good people and who we think are not good people.
Well, is the stuff true that Stephanie's now been implicated, or is that just
Well, that was with-
rumor mills?
That was rumor mill about the Ashley, somebody say her last name.
I can't remember.
that was in that story. They say allegedly she told Stephanie about what had happened to her, and then she just blew it off and told her to deal with it. But that's just that story. So
Yeah, there's a rumor that they told her, like, you don't want to make a big fuss about this because it'll ruin our reputation with the USO and cause us to have problems with the military. And I can understand why somebody would tell her that, whether it was Stephanie or Vince or some other high up at WWE. Can you imagine at the height of them going overseas for those USO trips, what they call it, tribute to the troops?
yeah,
And at the height of that, when the casualties were the most for remember at the beginning of the Iraq war and when we first went into Afghanistan, there were a lot of Americans dying until they figured out the fighting tactics of the enemy, right? And that was a very unpopular war. And the fact that they would go over there and they would cheer up these troops for a couple of hours, and you can see all our young men and women over there, man, they're smiling, they're having a good time. I mean, they even got involved a couple of times. I mean, it was a real morale booster, for I think them and everybody back home. And then to have a scandal like that come out, can you imagine at that time? It would have been awful. And so I could very easily understand why somebody at WWE would be like, you might want to keep this quiet. And plus, she had the substance issues, like they said, too. They might have not believed her.
it's just the whole thing is just, we'll just see. We'll just have to see where it goes and see what happens and see what happens with the fallout and stuff like that. But,
Yeah. Well, yeah. And Stephanie, what do you do if you're her? I mean, daddy's a pervert. You don't like it. You hate the way he treats mom. But what are you supposed to do? Are you just supposed to turn on the family and expose your dad for being a pervert to the public and destroy
and then
the
what are
family
you
business?
supposed to do if you're an
He done a pretty good job on his own.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing too. Like, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to get into it. It's late. I'm tired. And there's things that I don't want to talk about.
I still say that all that weird stuff we seen him do during the Attitude Era was just him playing out his real fantasies in front of a camera.
Yep. And after so many years of performance enhancing drugs, and he wasn't, let's say who knows what else, maybe the head injuries acting up 20 years later, all that stuff that were wild fantasies, he decided to make come true. And, and has disappointed lots of us. I especially feel bad for the people that owe their financial success to him. Like, boy,
if you want to hear something weird, didn't mean to interrupt you, Matt. While I'm thinking about it, I'm old, I forget. If you will find Inside the Ropes with Eric Bischoff, when he's talking about the time that Vince had him kiss Linda and Stephanie, and just listen to Eric Bischoff explain the way Vince was telling him to do it, it's creepy.
That segment was creepy. I remember when that happened. I remember that like second only gross to Katie Vick.
Eric Bischoff tells the story on Inside the Ropes of how Vince called him into the office and just the way he was explaining the way Vince told him to do Stephanie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it sounded like something you'd see on one of those sites we can't get in North Carolina no more.
Yeah. Can you imagine, like, I wonder if Triple H has ever had to, late at night at home with Stephanie and she just crying her eyes out about, what a sick and twisted pervert her father is and how she loves him. But God, he's twisted. Do you know what he told Bischoff to do to me? Which Trips was there at the time. I'm sure he heard about it when it happened, but I've seen that video, but I've always been scared to click on it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it's one of those things. It's like you can have a parent who is absolutely terrible and like is just a terrible human being. The terribleness that they do, and then they're still your parent. And then sometimes it comes down to, it's like, you're a victim too, because you're a victim of his megalomania,
Yeah. Oh,
Oh man, we left. Man, we were
No.
trying to do it on a high spot and
no,
we were trying to make a joke
gonna tell
about fishnets, and now, damn it,
I'm gonna turn it back around. Andre Chase has control of Chase University again. The calendar sales were successful. He's taken control of Chase University again. They are back on the winning ways. I sent a half drunk happy text announcing that they had won the number one contendership a day late because I was watching it on DVR last week. So if any of y'all wondered what that was about, they got that text message. So Andre Chase, I'm always pulling for you, but you got to watch JC Jade. You know, Thea is on tour. You know that she's shifty. I think she's going to try to take Chase University from you. And if it's one thing I've learned over the years, you cannot trust people with noses that big. You got to watch them because people with honkers like that cannot be trusted. They're huge noses. Y'all want me to pull up a picture of JCJ so you can see?
present company included?
Huh?
I mean, Rick
Oh,
Diesel has
man.
one of the largest noses.
Yeah.
Not compared to hers.
I look like I could be on a cereal box.
What?
Now I have a vision
As
of
the
those
missing kid or
polyps.
the guy they're looking for?
As a toucan.
Oh, yeah. I remember him. I saw him the other day. You know that he sells cereal with marshmallows in it now. In addition to the
I wandered.
JC.
What are we doing? I've already
Look
forgotten.
at big noses on the internet.
Yeah,
Oh,
I was pushing for Jennifer Aniston's feet, but you know,
I don't.
I don't control the clicker.
Who was wearing the white shoes at the press conference? One of the women was wearing a really pretty brown dress and wearing fucking white shoes. There were some sisters that used to come around wrestling a long time ago, and that was one of my issues with them too. Is they never wore.
Oh, that one does scare me.
outfits. Who was that?
That's her. That's the one who's trying to, I think, steal Chase University from Andre Chase. There's another look at her.
She looks like Chelsea Green from Wish. Or Timu. I guess Timu's the joke now.
Yeah, there she is with blood. Look at it. The blood can't even drip off. It's got so far to roll.
That is quite a honker. That's coming from me.
Yeah. See?
She looks normal there.
I don't know. She kind of looks like she's got a band of flying monkeys that would
Maybe her nose
back
is
in a
big
fight.
because it's been broken a lot.
there is a little helter skelter there.
Yeah, I'm telling you, she's creepy. She can't be trusted. Andre, watch out, man. You know, we're boys, so I'm trying to warn you about impending danger. And
she's got them big teeth too, Matt. Don't like.
JC.
Oh my God. What is it?
JC Jane, you got to watch people like her. She thinks she's pretty, but she's not. She's scary. And
See, now everybody's creeped out. You should have listened to me and just showed pictures of Jennifer Aniston's feet.
I don't want to put that in my Google, man.
Oh, well, I was just informed by my
So you end up on a list.
But think about it. Think about how many people would find this video when they Google Jennifer Aniston's feet.
Well, I'd have to put something in the description to make that happen, but
Jennifer Aniston's feet.
All right, but
God,
see, you got to understand my Google searches. I was telling Stephen Hayes before we went on the air last week. It's like when I started up the TikTok, my nephew had told me that TikTok is geared for 14-year-olds, girls. And so I went on Google and said, what excites 14-year-old girls? And all kinds of different things came up, video games and play sets and clothes and all this kind of stuff. But there was some other stuff that didn't look so nice. So about an hour.
Include your history after that.
Yeah. It's like on The Office when Michael decides to go on the dating app and he calls himself Little Kid Lover.
Yeah. So that's awesome because that's where I was going with this. About an hour later, a detective from Concord Police Department showed up and was curious about my internet history. So,
that's how you end up on a list.
Yeah, but you know what? After we talked and we shared each other's phones, and he came and looked at my desktop, he just best advice he told me, just watch what you search, buddy. And you might want to think about a VPN. So
yeah, then we're not going to go down. Is it Roger Waters? Was he the one? Pete Townsend with his book that he was researching. So we always go into the weirdest.
Who?
Wait, what? Huh?
Stephen Hayes said who, and I was just repeating it.
Oh.
Oh. Oh.
I'm waiting for the
I'm
show
starting
to
to
end
be
so I
in
can go look
pain.
at Jennifer
I'm starting to be in
Henson's
pain.
feet.
I gotta go.
All right,
I
let's
gotta
get
go.
out
I'm
of
about
here,
to
everybody.
die of pain.
Thanks for joining us for the show, everybody. We'll see you. No, we won't see you next week because we'll be doing the anniversary show on Sunday night. So we'll be back in 2 weeks, and we will see you back here in 2 weeks, and that will be on. Hang on,
That would be March 10th.
March 10th.
Hmm.
So, yep. So we'll be back here. We might do a Saturday night show that night. I don't know, but we'll see you back here in a couple of weeks. Wrestling fans, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, so long for now.